was the time when demonetization was announced. I was all set for my another solo trip to a place called Hampi in Karnataka. I got a call from my home asking me to check the news. I thought it's just some rumor. And honestly, I did not know what demonetization is at that point of time and what could be the after effect of it in reality. So the night I was packing my stuffs, I had thought of withdrawing the required amount of cash either that night or the next day before I start off the journey. Little did I know what the scenario was outside post the announcement. I went out to withdraw the required amount of cash that night, and the scene was nothing less than a chaos. People had gathered from all across and queued up outside all the ATMs, and there was panic, urgency, and fun as well. People were peeking over the shoulder of one another to get a glimpse of the ATM machine and just praying, "Dear God, please let not the cash run out at this machine, at least till my turn." One of my friends also called me and she said that she came to know how much money her mom had and she was angry about it because when she used to ask her mom for pocket money, she did not give, but now all the cash was coming out. All these things were happening all around. Panic, urgency, laughter. But in my mind, I had only one thought. How am I going to travel to Hampi without the required money? Reason? At that point of time, there was only one ATM, which was also approx like 10 kilometers away from the main place. And in most of the places, they preferred to take cash. And that was a huge and challenging problem for me. There was a loud tug of war going on in my head. First, I was traveling via bus. Second, I was having no such cash for the entire trip and also as a backup. And third, I was traveling solo. So I had only two options in front of me, out of which I needed to choose one. Either cancel my trip and stay at home, or start the journey and see what happens. And to my surprise, I chose the second option. I had only the amount of cash to just cover my bus fare and the food for one day. The accommodation, thankfully, I had booked online and that was a relief. I stood in the ATM queue and managed to get rupees 100 note because the cash ran out in that machine. In all other places, the queue in the ATM was not just huge, but also the cash ran out very quickly, and the same story was everywhere. My heart was beating fast and I could not sleep that night. Oh, and yes, of course, I did not tell anything to my family as unnecessarily they would panic and I was staying alone that time. I packed my bags and next day I set foot on my chosen problem as I began the journey. When I reached Hampi, needless to say, there was no cash available and there was chaos everywhere and the same story, just like that. In this trip, I specifically learned two things which made me realize of the fact that the idea, when I choose my problems in my life, I am able to choose the life I want because then I got the power to experience it in my own way. The first thing I realized is that people are not bad at all, as we have learned from the media, the movies, news, etc. I used to hear since my childhood, be careful, never travel alone. People will take advantage of you. Don't talk to strangers, etc. In my solo trips, however, I learned one thing for sure. People are just like me. How I treat them, they treat me. The fears that I have, they have too. The safety and security that I want, they want the same thing. In fact, the love, support, cooperation, help that I received from strangers over the years is immense. And the second thing I learned was that even when I did not have the means to travel safely in terms of finance and backup in this trip, this was one of the most memorable trips because I was experiencing in it a completely different spectrum. Let me explain. The easy way out for me was to just simply cancel the trip and stay at home. But there was a problem in front of me at that time. I chose to take up the problem, go ahead with it, and design it accordingly to choose the life I want. because the way I see things after that changed completely. So is my thought process, behavior, and the results in my life. When I was in school as a kid, I saw that some of the parents of my friends used to come and tie the shoelaces of my friends when we used to wait at the bus stop for the bus to come. I wondered sometimes, why do my parents never tie my shoelace? I don't even remember when was the last time they did actually. Even for my tiffin, most of the time I had to pack it myself. Strange, isn't it? In a country where we are brought up in an environment of protection, or let me say as overprotection and helicopter parenting, where there is an opinion and permission needed for what clothes to wear, what subjects to choose for career, whom to choose as life partner, what name to be given to a newborn child, and the list goes on. There is no time, no limit to the extent of the involvement of parents have in their children's lives, thinking of them as their own extension rather than an individual, unique human being. What they think as a problem for the child is actually the answer and the solutions to many of the real world problems the child is going to face in his or her life. And when the time comes, that grown up kid does not even have any clue as to how to deal with such problems. We are asked to choose the dress, but only from a selected range of clothes. We are asked to choose a career, but only from some esteemed options like medical, engineering, MBA, etc. We are asked to choose bride or groom, but only from a selected group of caste, status, etc. And many of us never even have these choices, by the way. We strive for better health, better relationship, better career, better life through a convenient way. And nothing right or wrong in that, by the way. I did the same thing just like everybody else. Conventional schooling, college, then a job in a good MNC. Working in the IT industry for around 8 to 9 years, trusting some friends and known people gave me some really good reality checks in life. Going into a heavy financial debt of more than rupees 25 lakhs, being suicidal, running to and fro in the police station, trying to get back the money that I took as a loan from the bank to help the so-called friends, which later on I came to know as a fraud case, opened a whole new world in front of me. A world where I was not just able to quit my job, but also become the best-selling author of my book, 7 Steps from Shame to Being Back in the Game, launching my podcast and interviewing people from across the globe and bringing out their stories, their contributions in my podcast, Intensify Humanity, bringing out the success stories and the challenges and the methodologies of self-growth and self-improvement of a person in my Intensify Life magazine, mentoring people from various backgrounds in my Intensify Life Mastermind program and Passionpreneur Mastermind program with my mentor, and so on. But the problems that I was cursing about at that point of time in my life were thrown on my path, which I did not choose. But what I chose was the problem post that event of my heavy financial, emotional, and mental crisis. The idea that I'm already a broke gave birth to another idea in my mind. What if I choose the problem that is there in front of me to choose the life I want? And then it all started. Out of so many things that were happening in my life at that point of time, easily it could be termed as being unlucky, poor girl, life happens, etc., etc. So I chose a problem and then another problem and then another. And what I did with those is how I shaped and designed my life from that point of time. So let's take an example. You have relationship issues, health issues. Pick anyone to begin with. Okay. So let's take finance issues. Till now, you might have been complaining about your money or financial problems, but let's choose that specifically right now. So you choose and accept the fact that your finance is not in good shape. First, it gives you the realization that there is a problem and you are choosing it voluntarily. Second, it allows you to see past the haziness and the fog due to your crying, cribbing, blaming, and complaining. Then instead of blaming your boss, your government, your spouse, your parents, your dog, your neighbor about the status of your poor bank balance, you actually take the full ownership. Result: you take the complete power in your own hands. Once you actually do this, there is a shift that happens within you. Now you know that the ball is in your court and you can hit it in any direction you want to. So then you start taking steps one by one. You decide on what are the things you can do through your skills, through your passion, through your talent that can solve any problem in the marketplace for somebody, and in return, you will get paid. When your brain starts working in this particular direction of solving a problem for someone in the marketplace, then you will see that all doors open up one by one. Means not just the idea, but the path as well. In short, when we choose our problems, take the ownership, we know exactly what we are gearing up for because the next step is then decided by us. Mark Manson, in his book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, drives home this same point. And to quote him, let me share. Imagine that somebody puts a gun to your head and tells you that you have to run 26.2 miles in under 5 hours or else he'll kill you and your entire family. That would suck. Now imagine you bought cute shoes and running gear, trained religiously for months, and completed your first marathon with all your closest family and friends cheering you at the finish line. That could potentially be one of the proudest moments of your life. Exact same 26.2 miles, exact same person running them, exact same pain coursing through your exact same legs. But when you choose it freely and prepared for it, it was a glorious and important milestone in your life. When it was forced upon you against your will, it was one of the most terrifying and painful experiences of your life. No one has a perfect life. Everybody has their own set of problems. We need to know how to take that problems voluntarily, mold it, and design the life we want. Now, after several kinds of experiences and experiments that I have gone through till now, and how I molded my life to choose the life I want, there is a very simple method which I personally devised, tested, experienced, and found useful enough to make a shift in my life. The idea which actually led me to not just think but also do things, take action in a manner which I never thought was possible given the position I was in life. And that idea, I call it as courage. Easy to remember, but with a great weightage to it. And if I break down, it stands for C for cleanse, O for opportunity, U for utilize, R for relearn, A for analyze, G for goals, and E for emulate. Once you have chosen the problem, all you need to do as the next step is work towards that idea, which will help you to choose the life you want. Now, let's see one by one what these mean. Okay, so C stands for cleanse. Imagine you want to you want to bring beautiful furniture to your home and you want to paint your home with fresh paint. Okay, what you do before that? You simply clean it properly, isn't it? Similarly, when you want new, better, and positive things to come to your life, you need to let go of the negativity and toxic things from your life. Get rid of the myths and limiting beliefs. Next, O stands for opportunities. When there is a problem in front of you, or you choose a problem voluntarily, that is the time when you need to look for the opportunities. Because all the problems you have some kind of the hidden meaning, and those hidden meanings have some sort of opportunities. Decoding the hidden meaning is all it takes to kickstart your new journey and to design the life the way you want. U stands for utilize. Once you have identified the opportunity, Utilize every possible skills you have, talent and resources towards it. And the biggest possible resource is what everybody has, that is the mind. Utilizing it to the fullest potential is your responsibility. R stands for relearn. Since childhood, we have been fed with so many information. It's time to unlearn and relearn. A stands for analyze. When you start doing something new, it's very easy to get lost in the process. It's time to take a pause, analyze, and find out to course correct whether you are on the right track or not. And maybe this is the time to get some guidance from a mentor or a coach. So analyze and then decide. G stands for goal. Personally, setting short term and long term goals have helped me a lot. Imagine you start a car and you don't know where you are going. Chances are you are going round and round in circular motion. Hence, set a direction, set your goals. And E stands for emulate. This is one of the best and simplest way. Simple. If you want to come out from your problem, follow a person who have been there, done that. Most importantly, emulate the mindset and the actions taken by them. Because when you know how to choose a problem and make it work in your favor for your better life, then nothing like it. And that's why I believe that when life itself is temporary, how can problems be permanent? And that's why I believe that when you can intensify your thoughts, your action, your behavior in the right direction, you can intensify your life as well. And that's why my mission and vision is to intensify life and intensify humanity on this planet. So let us choose our problems to choose the life we want. Thank you.